That was the international premiere of Golden Flask, and it is now my pleasure to introduce you to the two directors of the film dialing in from Lithuania. We have Jurgis Mautulavičius and we have Paulius Anichis. Joining us as well is Carlos Pereira, a member of the Sheffield DocFest selection committee member, who will be taking some questions. Following, I will be on hand to take some questions from the audience. Now, the code does not seem to be there, but I'm sure it'll appear in just a moment. I'll let Carlos crack on with his own questions, and I'll follow up with the details of how you can ask your own questions in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you, Owen, for the introduction. Welcome, Jurgis Mautulavičius and Paulius Anichis. Thank you so much for your incredible film. It's a pleasure to have it as part of our program. How are you doing?
Real good, real good.
Perfect. I wanted to start by asking, what you extract and capture from these people from a human point of view is almost unbelievable. It is as if the camera is not even there, it's not even present. And it feels like you are completely in the center of this microcosm. How did you have access to these people, to these lives? How was this encounter?
So I could start. Yeah. Well, the funny thing that we worked on another project, and I had a task to find electricity, and I went into this house, and I saw these people. Then I invited Paulus, and yeah. We somehow both already knew that we're gonna come back there and, I don't know, introduce ourselves and start a conversation with them. And so it began for, I think, with stops for 1 year. We were going there and talking to these people. So yeah, they kind of became our, I don't know, friends maybe. That's a good word to say. So.
Paulius, you want to say something else?
Yeah, but the thing which interested us back then, I think it was that this main character was looking a bit like Andrei Tarkovsky. That's why we decided to start a conversation about shooting a film about them.
Yeah, probably the house they lived. They're not living there now, but it has so much history in it, in the walls, in the things which were the tables, everything, the chairs, and so I think that it was like our nostalgic yearn to Andrei Tarkovsky's films. And
yeah, I wanted to ask you about this apartment, because this apartment looks almost like a known place, like a different dimension. And I don't know if it feels like the space is an extension of these people, or if these people are an extension of this place. So I wanted to ask you also what was interesting for you in this house. You already described it a bit, that it was because such a cinematic space. I wanted to ask you, like, now that you were talking about also Tarkovsky, what other influences are in this film? Because I can also feel that there is maybe potentially an influence of other filmmakers like Šarūnas Bartas, for example, or Pedro Costa, or there's also something painterly about your work, like maybe also some painters. Did you have some direct influences?
Well, when we started to shoot this movie, actually we worked on Šarūnas Bartas' film, and so it was like a school for us. He was directing it, and we were learning from him. And I think that we started to shoot this film very inspired by him, as a filmmaker, as a director, as a DOP, because he's everything in his film. And and we a two-man team went into this house and really wanted to do everything on our own. And of course, and when we accessed the place, I think that the first feeling that I felt that the time there was frozen. And then we talked about this with Paulus, and he said, well, he said that it's like in Marcus's novel, where 100 Years of Solitude, where the time is frozen, and you can see this. I don't know. These people, you know, they have fundamental values, and they're actually they're from another world. They're not living in our society. They're on a border of it, and on the other side. So I don't know, that's interested me for the most, and Paulus maybe can say something else.
Yeah, absolutely. You feel that this house works a bit like a waiting room. It's fantastic. You want to say something, Paulus?
Yeah, I think what influenced us here, I think it's neorealism, or this I don't know, threshold of documentary and fiction. Like I think those films which influenced Bartas, you know, these films influenced us as well.
Yeah, and you know, the thing is that when you're watching this film, you get this very ambiguous feeling, because well, for me it's kind of between the fiction and documentary, and you know, we came there as a complete spectators, and we started to shoot a documentary, but at the editing table, you know, you try to make a story, and then you put some fiction automatically into it. But yeah, well, it was my first try to do a documentary film, and it was an amazing experience and feeling. How free can you be in the set, and you know, there is how the same is in that flat, that there is no time and no space. It's somewhere beyond, between the dimensions, and that's what really inspired us. You know?
That you can really feel that. Since we don't have so much time, I would like maybe to open the questions to the audience. Owen, are there any questions?
So yeah, we have the code up here on the right side of the screen. If you head to slido.com, you can enter the code there, and you can just type in the question, and it'll come up on my iPad. Didn't pop up straight away, Carlos, so those options weren't immediately available. So maybe if you have another question for the meantime, and hopefully we have a question from the audience. Thank you.
No worries, I still have questions. I wanted to ask you, did you have many hours of footage before you come to the version of 28 minutes? Because it feels like what we are watching is just an essence of some longer observation. I wanted to ask you if you short.
Yeah, the thing is that I think Polo, we had like 24 shifts while filming this film, and it took us over 1 year, maybe more, maybe two years to film. And the thing is that when we came there first times, we saw the footage, and we came with this idea that it should be like a one night in their apartment, but we filmed for 1.5 years. So we just we had the clothes for them. Paulus was a makeup artist as well. We were cutting their hair, shaving their beards, you know, and yeah. But the most interesting thing is that what we left, with what thoughts and conversations we left their place when we came back. It was just you know, just just a continuity of the same ideas which were presented for us for half a year ago. So it was kind of, I don't know, in one way fantastic and kind of spooky, that people are still staying on the same level. So I think that we came there with a romantic sense of this border essence of them, and when we came out, we really saw that all sides of it, and it was kind of a real good experience.
Owen, is there any question, or should I ask another one?
No question yet, Carlos. I know you could ask questions all day, so go ahead.
Okay, so maybe one last question. You already talked a bit about it. I wanted to understand better, why did you decide to shoot during the nighttime? Was it a specific moment where in which they were repeating some thoughts, or were you particularly interested in the light? What made you chose this specificity of shooting during the nighttime, and also editing it like this?
Polo, maybe you wanna.
Because these people do not function at the daytime. They sleep, or if they do not sleep, they wouldn't let you in because they are angry at the daytime. They are like vampires, and yes, and it's I don't know, it looks much better at nighttime, and it's a better way to say these things about a piece of time stuck in the apartment. I don't know if I answered the question.
It's a good point, because the light is not changing, and you have a Lithuanian night, if it's winter, you have 12, 13, 14 hours. It's kind of a long time. But now when you ask this question, I thought about that, these characters, I don't know, they remind me of Dostoevsky's, books, and especially that, and this nighttime, I think it's like the white nights in Petersburg, when Dostoevsky wrote about people going crazy and mad, drinking buckets of vodka, and just going through the night, and I don't know, talking about religion, God, about the fundamental values, about death and love, and these emotions are very sincere, and not they're not judging themselves, and I don't know. I think that we try to make this film that nobody will judge the characters or us, because it was just a time being together with them, and this experience that we got from them, we try to show to the audience.
Carlos, we do have a question from the audience, if you don't mind me interjecting.
Of course not. Let's question.
So I'd like to point the question to you, Paulius, if you don't mind. I'd like to, one member of the audience would like to ask you if over the years filming, did you encounter more subjects or more characters from this house that weren't included in the film?
From this house? No, like this film is the only our film in this house. I don't know if I get the question right.
But I think that you got it wrong, because yes, in this house, there were lots of people in one room, because they're just their friends and neighbors who were all the night. There was like a party, and they would drink so much that one time one guy threatened Paulus to kill him. He was standing with a knife, and yeah. Well, but of course it was like more of a verbal conflict than it would happen, for real. But Paulus was standing the other guy, and I was just thinking, wow, I need to film everything, but I don't know, there were lots of funny stories. There were lots of times the woman in this film who sleeps, you see her sleeping, so she would wake up and try to just to get us out of the house, and yeah, but we still stayed there and just contemplated with the characters.
Incredible. Well, Jurgis, Paulius, I'd like to thank you for sharing your film with us. And Carlos, I'd like to thank you for sharing your insights with us. But that is all we have time for. Good evening, and see you soon.
Yeah, thanks, Sheffield Film Festival. It's an honor.
Thanks.